I'm Mike Serace. I have 39 years in fire service and 30 years in construction, mostly residential. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over a couple tools that we use for the fire service, but again we're going to want to cover how they're used in construction, doing demolition for renovations. Okay, the first two tools we have are 6-foot hooks. The difference on these are we have the tip on this one is called the all-purpose tip. As you can see, the one with the roof hook. Alright, we'll go over the advantages of the roof hook, my more favorable hook. The other tool we'll be using today is the crowbar with the fork, now called the claw, to point in the adze. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to this window here and we'll run you through some scenarios as far as if we're the fire department coming up here to work on a fire. Okay? Okay, our first scenario is there was a fire down below us on the first floor. A couple rooms and contents was on fire. That fire was in check, it's knocked down. We're instructed to come upstairs. We did our primary search. Now we're going to start looking for ways that the fire could travel. We want to make sure that we do a good overhaul and stop the fire and get ahead of it. So we come into this room, we go on an outside wall. Old house like this is balloon frame. Alright, the studs are going up and they come back across the ceiling. So what are some of the things we look for when we come upstairs? How can we tell where to start pulling first, where do we start making inspection holes? One thing we want to look for is maybe discoloration around the baseboard, maybe discoloration or smoke coming out real slow. Sometimes it's real obvious, you'll see a big burn pattern of paint blistering. So where should I start to pull first? I have discoloration here under the windowsill and I have discoloration next to it. It's not a matter of what's more discolored, it's a matter of what's behind it, where's the fire going. If the fire is over here and it's going up, it's going to hit here and stop on the windowsill. If it's running in bays next to it, it can run up this bay into the ceiling, whether it's up and running in the attic area, the cock-off area, starts running across the floor joists. So we would start pulling over here first. Okay, two things. Number one is we're always going to use the appropriate PPE, our personal protective equipment. In the fire service, of course, it would be full, turnout clear, gloves, and our air mask or dust mask, eyeglasses. Okay, and it's, again, construction-wise, doing construction, the same thing. We always would want long shirt, long sleeves, long pants, helmets, depending on what's in there, insulation, whatnot. Generally want a filter mask on as well, and gloves and eye protection. Now, the difference is here, again, like I said, I've been doing construction for 30-some years. That means when we get a big gigantic house that we're doing a demo in, this is my favorite tool for 8 hours a day. So I have to use this tool for 8 hours. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, you have to be just as efficient with this tool as I am at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So how do I do that? It's all about, the techniques we're going to show is understanding how to use a tool, understanding leverage, and working like a gentleman. Now fire-wise, same thing. I may be using this tool or another tool, but generally when I do that, I'll have a lot more heavier gear on. I may even be on air, restricted visibility, and I have the added weight of probably about 70 pounds of turnout gear and protective equipment on me, plus my porta light and my thermal imaging camera. So then my work span there is probably about 15 minutes or 1 tank of air, go out, get another tank of air, come back in and probably get another 15 minutes out of me. Okay, so we're up here, we're about to show some of our techniques. You can see our simulated smoke stains, so we're suspecting possible fire in these couple bays over here. So how do we make our purchase point into the wall? Where do we do it, high or low? Okay, I'm going to go down, take my hook. Notice how I have the hook horizontal. The reason why I have it horizontal, as you can see over here, where the lath is running horizontal. So when I poke it into the wall, I want to poke through that horizontal boards. Versus, it'll be a lot easier instead of going like this, where I'm trying to get a 4-inch space through a bunch more lath. So I'll take the hook. I'll go through and again when I do that I take easy punches, alright? I don't want to be doing this and go clear through the wall and hit somebody on the other side of the wall, work on the other side. So I'm going to take casual punches. If it feels like it's too solid, like I might be hitting a stud, I may move over and I can feel there's a stud right there. So I'll move over to the side. Right. Once I made a little purchase point, I'll turn the hook. I'm going down with it, and I'll try and find it where the studs are, and I'll go back to where the studs are. I'll work my way Okay, that's basically how I get my purchase point. Whether, once I find inside, I look for smoke. If I find smoke or fire in here, I'll continue pulling, both vertical and horizontal until I run out of smoke stains or fire. And I'll pull till it's clear. So if this is the only bay that's stained, I'll go usually one bay on that side, one bay on this side. The other thing is, when I make my purchase point, I get that hole in the wall, and if I do see flame in there, before I go open the big gigantic area, I want to make sure that I have the engine company right next to me with a charge hose line. Other ways of doing it is I can take the hook down the wall, and again, preferably if I'm going to pull back on it, I want to move it closer to a stud. I'll go closer to the stud, pull it back. Okay, and if we made, again, making it higher, if I made my hole up here, I can also stick it up the wall, pull it back. When you do that, as I pull it back, a lot of times the material starts to come down your hand. Window, again, we want to check underneath, go underneath here, so you can hear the difference. See how it just generally goes right in. There's no fire in there. There's no fire in there. I can go over here. Clear. It's still clear there, and go all the way across the room. And it's all clear. Okay, now we're going to do the window casings. What I find a lot of times is people, which end of the hook they're using on the window cases, and we'll explain that. First thing is they go to the middle, and they start pulling in the middle, whether it's this way or the other hook. And it's better off to pull on one of the ends. Because when I pull in the middle here, all my effort and all my pulling, I'm spending that energy is going this way and it's going this way. So I can use less energy if I come over here. And that's all energy. The more energy I use, the more work I do, the more air I'm going to be using. And I'll run out of air before I get everything done. So again, one way we can do it, we can get our purchase point up here. And again, everything I pull, I'm pulling like a gentleman. I'm not pulling like a bull in a china closet because I don't want to start hurting people in the room. I don't want to have stuff flying all over the room. This particular one has a little block. Okay, now I go up, get behind it, and I'm using the tool as a lever. The tool's doing the work. All right, I'm not pulling the tool, I'm just bending it up. And you can see how it's prying. All right, now once I get it loose, again, I want to do it controlled because I may be over here, my partner may be over the other window, I'll be a couple other people in the room. So I can pull it down. Okay? And what I want to do now is I want to have coordinate with my partner. If my partner's in the room, I'll say, let's make our debris pile over in that corner, or put it over in the corner, right there, my debris pile. I don't want to just start yanking casings off, throwing stuff all over the room. If I need to get out in a hurry, or if I need to get out, and I'm going across the room, I can trip over it. So now you can see I have a void in here. All right, so I can do a couple things. I can take this and I can pull this, or I can go try it off the other side. Once it comes loose, I may reach up and I'll throw it in my debris pile. Okay. Go with the other side. Fire out of there. We'll do the sill now. Okay, it's all up around the window. You can see all these voids, the voids that come up along the window, and they could go straight up into the attic area, the cockloft area. One thing about the debris pile, again, besides being making our work area much safer, if the arson squad has to come back in and start putting the room back together, if I take all my stuff off and put it right over here, and they take the stuff off that window and put it over there, it's kind of separated, so it'll make it a little bit easier for the investigation. Another thing about overhauling is some people just say they'll come into the room, and they'll say the truck guys will be in there doing the work, and all of a sudden somebody wants to say, oh, take the whole ceiling down, take the whole entire ceiling down. Okay, that's good, people can do that, but you know, if it is a crime scene or there has to be an investigation as to the cause of the fire, you know, it just makes it a little bit harder. Plus, I like to, let's pull where we think the fire is, make sure there's no fire there, and then if there's no fire here, I want to go someplace else in the building where there might be fire before I start pulling some almost unnecessary areas. Okay, something else we want to hit on is we're on above the fire, or we have a hole in the floor. Some of the quickest ways that we can make it safer to be working is we can take a door off the hinges and put it down, or some other piece of furniture, slide it over the hole. We want to cover up the hole so we don't have any injuries. If I was to come in here with my hook, you know, I can stick my hook in here and pry and pull. I can stick a Halligan adze in here, forks, and pop the door off. All right. Or again, I can do a lot of things with it. So it's all taking up space and swinging this around. Again, if there's a lot of people in the room, you know, I can't work efficiently because I'm afraid of hitting someone. So what I can do is I can either take depending on the door, I can put it up here, put the hook up here like that, just hanging it over the door. It's staying there. I'm going to grab the door here and grab the door here to spread the force out. I'll push the door in. Push the door in. Comes off the hinges, and I can take it wherever I need it to put it over the floor, cover a hole in the floor. It's also a good technique for a lot of times you get those hallways where you have to open the door up past and close the door behind you, and then you end up opening and closing that door and letting guys in and out. Guys can be on the fire side of that door and get jammed up back there, so it's a good thing to eliminate the door, take the door off the hinges as soon as you can. Okay, we're going to go over again a couple techniques that I use in the Pro bar, the Halligan type bar. Okay, depending on your assignment on the truck or assignment at the incident, a lot of times the truck officer will have the Halligan. Okay, and you get up there, you do all your forcible entry, now you get inside, you may want to do some help with the overhaul and stuff. So again, we can do you can do things a bunch of different ways. Just show you a couple. Like if I want to start on a windowsill or a window leg, it's harder for me to reach up high with a shorter tool, so I'll start down low. Start down low, get behind it. Again, I'm using the point. You can also use the adze end. I can use the adze end in and leverage and pull down, or I can pull up. Again, once it's off, I can either, depending on who's in the room, I can keep controlling with the bar, or I can put a hand on it and control it. Right. And throw it to the side. Do the other side. Okay, again. Using the Halligan with the adze end this time. I'm going in it and I'm just trying. Get it loose. Getting into the windowsill. Again, I want to try and keep my work area clear, because if I do stumble or fall, you know, I don't want to have a 10-penny nail stuck through me. Okay, as far as going into the wall, again, I can use any of the ends to reach into the wall. Again, I can either pull or I can turn it and fly off the structural member. Here I can fly off the structural. Okay, get it in the wall. Okay, now we're going to take off the baseboard using the Halligan. We made our purchase point in the wall. I'm going to pry off of against the stud that's next to me, sticking in there. Okay, and go all along. Tie it off. Put it like that. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to mess with the ceilings a little bit. And again, notice the two different sides of the hook. When I'm pulling the ceiling down, I want to use this side. Okay, if I use the other side and it get caught on one of the old gas pipes or any wires or something, as I'm pulling, it's going to be stuck and hung up in this area. All right. Plus, it's going to pull the material down towards me. If I use the other side, if I get hung up on something, hopefully it'll come off of it. Okay, the same thing, same technique I'm going to do. I'm not going to go swinging like a maniac in here to make my purchase hole. I'm going to kind of sound it out, find out where I think there's an open bay, and that's where I'll make my hole, my little inspection hole. Once I make my hole, that'll orientate me as to which way the lath is running, and then that'll tell me which way the joists are running. Okay? Further, when I make the hole, again, I would follow this all the way up. I have to keep pulling. Now the fire's in this bay. I have to pull this bay until I find where there's no more fire. I'll make a purchase point. See what we got. Yeah, I can see which way the joist, the lath is running this way, so I'm going to want to turn around and make my hole there. I know where there's a beam right here now, so I know I can make over here another hole. Now as I pull that way, I'm pulling down, and again the breeze going to pull that way. When I start pulling again, I want to pull towards where one of the joists are. Now I can use leverage. Try again. Good?
Good.
That's it. Okay, as we wrap it up for today, hopefully you picked up a few techniques, and you can take these back to your departments. Maybe you can include them in your drills, share them with others. And again, our whole goal here is to understand how the tools work, use the tools like a gentleman, don't run out of energy using it foolish and where you're causing injuries, hitting people, using it ineffectively, running out of air, and having health issues. So we want to use them smart and use them properly, and you can use them for, again, in construction, I can use that hook for 8 hours a day. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Be safe.